time for other property professionals. So everybody on the Zoom, no more swearing, please. Thank you very much. So, you can tell I've had too much sugar this weekend already for Easter weekend, can't you? Okay. So you'll have to bear with me. Yes, I've overdosed on the Easter eggs, too much chocolate and sugar. My screen's not straight. That's it better. Right. So as always, welcome, property professionals, Thursday afternoon, 5 p.m. Nowhere else. Before you start your Easter break, this is what you need to be watching. Got a fabulous guest. Peter, welcome. Oh, it's a surprise. Not going to let you in yet. Yeah, welcome, Peter. It's been a struggle getting you on. I'm really excited to have you on. I'm going to introduce you shortly. But now, before we come to you, as always, unfortunately, with property, it's always about the money. Or a lot of it's about the money, and everybody understands that, right? So the man with the money is Mitesh, who's just come from number 11, I believe. Is that right?
Number 12.
Number 12. He's obviously supervising the guy at number 11 in that case. Mitesh, I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to run out. I'm going to have a sugar drop in a minute. Right, over to you, sir. Tell us about the money.
So do you want to?
Hang on. I know what you're going to ask. This is what happens when you do too much Zoom. You're going to ask me, can I share the slides?
Yep. Because I've been working hard based on your feedback last week. So.
Okay. Well, it depends how, if we got enough 50p's, I think I might have just.
I think you're sharing your screen now.
Yeah, I did this last week as well, didn't I?
Yeah.
Hopefully
there's enough 50p's in there for Mitesh to carry on.
All right. Look,
if you want to come out first,
you need to stop sharing first, I think.
I can't find the damn buttons, believe it or not. Where's this thing? Oh, here it is. Okay. I've got to be really careful. Sorry, right. Okay. I told you I had too much sugar. Right.
Okay, Mitesh, off you go.
Right, okay. Okay, bear with me. So I've been working really hard with all the slides that we talked about. So hopefully you'll be able to see my screen. And there we are. So it's a bit different to last week based on the feedback I've had. This is my details. You've got our brand new logo that's there. We're based in Bracknell, a team of 8 advisors. We're called Our Mortgage Broker Limited. You've got my direct telephone number, an email address, and the company website. So it's a bit different, as I said, this time. Okay. So we talked about what is important before you engage with a broker in terms of trying to get a mortgage document checklist. So been really working hard on that, making sure that it's clear and concise, so that all the listeners and the viewers obviously getting an understanding of kind of what's important in the mortgage transaction in terms of the paperwork, because the paperwork's not right, there tends to be a lot of delays. So let's get on with this and see if the slideshow actually works properly, because it doesn't seem like it's wanting to work. Right, 1 second.
Page down or scroll down might work.
Let's see.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. There we are. Okay, so got a to-do list in terms of what to do if you're an employed applicant. These are some of the common documents that most brokers would need. So a copy of passport, latest 3 months pay slips if you're employed, latest 3 months bank statements. I've put in a fact find document. So most brokerage firms will need that because of the fact that your pay slips, your bank statements don't actually tell you anything about who you are, where you live, and areas like those, where you work. These are some of the basic information that the lenders would need. So what we tend to do with our documents, the fact find documents, it's done in such a way that it captures at least 80 to 85% of the information that the lender will require anyway. So what tends to happen is when you approach a broker, generally you basically approach a broker to say, we would like to get an agreement in principle done before we put an offer on a property, which is kind of what tends to happen these days in the market, because a lot of estate agents are asking for this document. So if you have this done, then it makes a big difference at the point of engaging the broker. And if you're ready with all the information, then you can get your agreement in principle done quite quickly. And the last document that's there is deliberately put in there. The reason why that's there is because that credit file from checkbyfile.com, what it allows you to do, it allows you to understand your data that's held with 3 credit reference agencies, and that's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And the reason why that's very important is because there may have been things happen in the past you're not aware of that's there on your credit file. It allows us as a broker to check that out before we start performing credit checks with the lenders. And that way, if there's a problem, then we will stop getting a credit check done and try and resolve the issue prior to submitting an agreement in principle. So that's the real reason why. And the other reason why that it helps is if you've got lots of, let's say, unsecured debts in the background, what tends to happen with this credit file, it tends to be probably 2 months out of date. So sometimes if you spend a lot of money on your credit cards, and depending on at what point you fill out the fact finding in the process, it allows us to compare the figures and make sure that they're right before we start getting the credit checks done. Because obviously what you don't want is the lender system saying to you, oh, there's something not right, we now need to refer this case over, and there might be another delay in the process. So these are some of the main reasons why. The other reasons are simple, things like, are you on the electoral roll? Is the address right? Is the name right? You'd be surprised sometimes issues like that have come up, where there's a small spelling mistake, with the local council, from a previous address or something. It's very rare, but it can happen. Okay, so hopefully this will work. There we are. Self-employed applicants. So a topic on its own, because you can have different types of self-employed applicants. You could have a sole trader, you could have a limited company, you could have a partnership. So I think in a nutshell, what I would say is that if you've been trading for 3 years or more, then one of the main requirements is to ensure you got at least your last 3 years tax calculations available. We don't need those tax returns that are submitted, just a tax calculation summary, that 1-page document, which is kind of the end of the tax return that tells you basically how much you've declared. Okay, and then what goes with it is the 3 years tax overviews. So that's the tax paid, and this is again a 1-page document that basically mirrors the tax that's been paid. Okay, the next area to look at is the details of the accountants, because what tends to happen is that we need to have the information for the accountant, because some lenders might say we need an accountant's reference letter. So it's important to understand who the accountant is, what the qualifications are. Again, quite important in the process. And then the 3 years fully assigned accounts, again, that can be really important, especially if you're doing a residential transaction. So you're trying to move house or buy a property for the first time. A lot of lenders may want to sort of look at the signed accounts rather than getting an accountant's reference. It depends on the type of lender you go to. So this is more of a detailed list, so it will vary from lender to lender. But in a nutshell, these are kind of the documents we really need. So if you turn and say, well, why would you need the signed accounts? Can we not just look at the tax calculation, tax overviews? Well, we need to understand how the business is performing, and the lender would need to understand that. So as a broker, if you haven't looked at your accounts and suddenly you're showing losses on your accounts, and then you're taking large salaries out of the business, by the time that application goes to the lender and then the underwriter sends out the accountant certificate, for example, the case could have been declined by then. So you want to make sure you've done your due diligence at the outset. So I've got you samples here of how a tax calculation summary looks like, and how a tax overview looks like. So that's in terms of the documents. Okay, so one of the questions that's coming up quite a lot these days, or the last, I would say, 9 months at least, in terms of what I'm seeing, where clients are saying, can we look at a second home? Maybe I want to stay in the property, maybe I want to rent it out, I want to buy in Cornwall, maybe somewhere in Dorset. Is there a possibility? Yes, there's a possibility. So these are the areas you may want to sort of ask whether you can let it out as an Airbnb, whether it's a holiday let, whether it's staycation, whether it's a second home whilst having another residential property in the background. So these are all the scenarios that sometimes come up, and yes, it is a possibility, and very much so. These days, lenders are actually trying to allow the criteria within the buy-to-let space, whereby you can actually stay in the property, for let's say a couple of months in the year. You can do a holiday let, do an Airbnb. So lots of flexibility out there, and as I said, lenders are sort of adapting. So if you decided, buy a nice holiday home somewhere in Cornwall, Cotswold, then by all means, that's something that can be possible. So no mortgage market updates, but I thought why don't I talk about again an area where people tend to ask us, what if I've got an unusual property? Can we lend against it? So it could be a grade 1, grade 2 listed building, something like this you may want to buy. Yes, we have lenders like that. We have actually a few specialist lenders that are in this market space that actually prefer these type of unusual properties, are happy to lend against it. Studio flats, annexes, properties where there's more than 10 acres of land, land with or without planning, lots and lots of options that you can consider. So I thought I'd bring this in because I don't think it's a topic we've touched on before, but that is a possibility. I wouldn't be too scared to ask the question whether you can or cannot get a property. So, okay, let's see. So my details, you can see on here, and this is a recent feedback I've had from a client. I won't go too much into the details, but it was a client that was new in the game. It was one of the partner that was going on to the mortgage had some issues, and we picked that up on the credit file, which is why you can see that the Trustpilot review goes into more detail about that. And it was very important that we actually had the credit file because it allowed us to communicate with the lender, tell them what had happened, where to understand the whole story. It took a bit of time, which is why the person obviously turned and said that I had a very thorough fact-finding done, because it had to be done. And yeah, fortunately that transaction I've just found out yesterday is completing next week. So very happy customer. This is my experience and skill set. So I'm a specialist mortgage broker. We can look at bridge finance, commercial, development finance, second charge, portfolio lending, residential, and personal business protection. So a wide range of skill set. My details on the right hand side, and there I am. Okay, so in terms of what's happening next, as Dil tends to ask me a lot. Well, we do have an event coming up. We mentioned this last time. It's called Epic Property, educating, investing, conferences, and this is an area that the MD and the team are thinking in terms of what would be good as a content to try and sort of put out there if we were trying to put an event together. So like we were discussing earlier, this event is all about really mainly educating. So we've got lots of lenders coming on. We've got some property professionals coming on, and so we've got obviously ourselves, the team. We've got the chap called Jamie from Soteria Planning, who looks at mainly wills and trust. Avocado Property are an estate agency that again both of these companies are they sort of trade from the same building where we're at in Arlington Square in Bracknell. Okay, so apart from that, these are the areas that we'll be touching on: bridging, buy-to-let, development finance, refurbishment, commercial, all the areas we were discussing earlier. So it's going to be quite a good event, and it's on the 12th of May. It's 11 to 5 p.m. and you can basically get, the information at events@ourmortgagebroker.co.uk, and there's a ticket for £10 as well. So I thought it'd be good for everyone to sort of try and see if they can make it. It's going to be really, really good. I'll be there. The MD is going to be there. The whole team's going to be there, and we really are looking forward to this event. And that's it from me.
Mitesh, thank you very much. Right. Feedback time. Is it okay if I'm harsh but fair?
I had to work on this. It's different to what we normally tend to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to that in a minute. Is it okay if I'm harsh but fair, live on air? So I'm gonna try and be nice to you. Well, not really. Okay. Now, content, very, very interesting, right? And I'm really. It's amazing how you picked up on Cornwall, because I think all of England's heading towards Cornwall for this Easter break. Mm-hmm. Really interesting. So I'm going to get you to do a full program on that. None of this little 10-minute update. I want you to do a full program on that. I really love the grade 1 and grade 2 stately home. I love them big thinking, right? Mm. So another program on that, because that's something I'd really like to learn about. Now, here comes the bad news. I'm going to put you in the naughty corner and a detention for your ability to operate your slide presentation. Mate, the good slides. Why do you learn to use your keyboard? But anyway, I can't be too harsh on you. You're going to get an A for effort. Probably 4 for learning to use your computer, but I think that's just, we would call it room for improvement.
That's why we tend to show the slides individually, because the whole slideshow thing sometimes.
Listen. Don't give me excuses. It's not that difficult. I promise you.
Well, it's not. I know it's not. I tested it twice. I know it's not.
It's not difficult. I promise you. Look, right? Let me ask you a secret question. Everybody, just close your ears for a minute. Did you put the slides together, or somebody else put them for you?
I put the content together, but I took help from somebody within the firm.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why you couldn't, But anyway, look. All right. In that case, I might bring the 4 up to a 6. There's still a lot of room for, but the content. Look, I'm really. Thank you for doing that content. Really interesting. It's subject matters that I wouldn't have thought of. Super interesting. Much better than the usual stuff we get with the 1.5 and whatever the rates you lot come up with, Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I'm gonna shoehorn you into doing those 2 programs. So one for holiday lets and Airbnb and how we get something in Cornwall, so we know we've got it rather than queuing up. And the second one, I want you to do a separate program on these stately homes with 10 acres of land, and if you can include fishing lakes in there. I'm not going to start Surinder off on that one. So 2 programs, that's your homework. Get it ready, and we're going to give you a program on your own if you learn how to use the slides properly. Is that a deal?
I'll get somebody to operate it.
No, come on, man. Look, it's not difficult. You could get a 12-year-old to show you how to operate that. Come on. You must have a niece. Have you got nieces, nephews, kids? Get someone. Look. All right. No excuse. I've just given you a 6. Don't make me drop it back to a 4 on that. Sorry, mucking around. Content, very good. Very interesting ideas. Really, really love it. Yeah.
Thank
Your
you.
skills with the keyboard could do a bit of practice, mate. Come on. Yeah. And sorry, look. When's this event again? 12th of May?
Yeah, 12th of May.
And the tickets are just £10?
£10.
Yeah. And for all our viewers, you've missed it. You should have put the slides back on. But anyway, it's a live event, so I won't be showing up because I'm busy with my lockdown. I'm still continuing on, Sure. But if you think about broadcasting it, you know what, we're gonna push you on that front. So yeah, great. Well done for putting the event together. And I want those programs out of you probably before maybe before. I'm not going to let you get away with this one because you've got some ideas into my head. I want to learn about those. Mitesh, joking aside, thank you very much. Really nice presentation. Some great ideas.
Thank you.
Right. Back to the rest of this program. What a great little idea. Holiday home in Cornwall. Own it, and you can book your own stuff whenever you want. Whatever sort of bedding and sheets you want, and it makes you money. Fantastic idea. And I really like the stately home. Right, next part of the show. we've got a bit of a special guest for you. He's quite a good friend of mine. We've done stuff in the past, but getting hold of this guy is really hard. I promise you. But I'm going to welcome. So Peter, welcome to the show. It's been a challenge getting you on. Mitesh, we can have our slides back now. Peter does a lot of really interesting stuff in the property sphere. I'm going to let him do his own introduction, but he's really hard to get out of, but really worth listening to. Really knows stuff.
You will not tell me off about the slides.
Well, it's the same feedback. Just use yours.
Okay, no problem. I'm not scared of the feedback. Just joke. I don't know
Peter,
how do I share it on this, because I don't have option to share the screen.
Well, you have to put the 50p. Sorry, the 50p's, please. More 50p's. Right. You could share. Have you got slides?
Yeah.
All done. You can
All
share
done.
straight away.
There you go. The boss said you go for it.
Okay. I need to see, where do I get this button on the Zoom?
It's the green one that says share. Yeah, I forgot you don't like Zoom.
I got it. Yeah, I usually use Google Google Meet. So
Yeah.
you see the slides, yeah?
Yeah. We know you got shares in Google Meet. There's less of us, more of us poorer people who have to use Zoom. But anyway,
look, Google Meet is for free anyway. It comes with calendar anyway. Just saying. Okay.
All right.
So, but I'm not trying to sell it. Yeah, myself. So I was thinking, what would be a great thing to add to this program? And there's three things that I think very interesting is to speak about. First, definitely is like running the business and building a business. If you have any questions, please ask them after. I will show what we do, and then you may have a question. How did we start? What do we do? What are the ups? What are the downs? And I'm happy to share that. The second thing is what we do is architects. So if people are more interested in architectural work, and here, because we talk about general property, we do property marketing. And as we know, as Dil was saying, yeah, we are all into the marketing business. So just a little insight of who we are. We are property photographers, floor planners. That's how we started. So we operate within M25, and before the lockdown, we were doing 20 properties a day, and that's just every day. So basically, a few thousand properties a year. That would be a normal year, how it looks like for us before the lockdown. Now, of course, things has changed. So on the bottom, you see there's just a few estate agents that we work with, and also we work with 10 or plus architects. So here, this is just some of our work, just some of our pictures. And I just wanted to give you an insight. So before I tell you more about it, just so you have that visual understanding of what do we do actually. And everything in these days is sold by purely visual and the appearance of how it is. So now we go to property advertisement itself. So all the properties now are moving online, especially during the COVID. Now, why do we have the Zoom meeting? Because everything is moving all online. That's the trend. So people first, what they do, they look on the platforms, and then they do the viewings, and then they do the rest. But how do you generate the interest? Is actually the appearance is what makes the initial inquiries and the interest. So what do we need? The knowledge about marketing, and that's what Dil says. In what business do you think you are? And I will steal it from Dil. And he said, in whatever business you think you are in a business of marketing. Marketing your own services. We have mortgage update. If you cannot sell your mortgage services, no one will buy them. If you cannot sell your HMO services, no one will buy them. So first, it starts with advertisement. And what do we advertise? Even if we don't have a business, we advertise ourselves. So what would you trust to work with me? So the question is, how can I sell and what do I have? And here we are in a property. We will talk about property. So have you seen similar listings? So this is a real listing. It's not just a made up listing, it's real listing. And you see, even if the walls would be colored white, they doesn't show up white on the image. So what's the point of coloring something white if you show it yellow? So it doesn't really represent the property as it should be. And now this is actually a real message from one of the guys from property meetings that I attend. And he says, look at this property, it's online. This is my advert on Rightmove. Do you think photos are bad? I'm getting minimal interest. Okay, so let's have a look at the picture. So on left is what he done, and on right is what we done. Yeah, so you see the difference. Now let's go next one. On left is what he done, on right is what we done. On left is his work, on right is our job. On left is his job, on right is our job. Just a small comparison. And on top is our images, and on the bottom is his images. Let's just have a look on the right. You see the kitchen, how much bigger the kitchen is shown on the images that we have taken. Okay, so here basically there's two options: to up your marketing or decrease the price. If you don't have an interest, what do? You have to eventually get the money from selling or renting the property, and the only way to do that is basically get someone in through the doors. And the option is to drop the price. That's what everyone does. But the other option is not dropping the price, but actually getting the marketing right. And let me show you how does it work in the numbers. So for example, rental property, 1,200 per month. So you drop £50 down on rent because no one was calling up. Okay, that's £50 less you're going to get for 12 months contract because you signed 12 months contract. Now, after 12 months, you will have £600 less from the initial price. Okay, photography cost is 80 to 150 pounds. Okay, so think before dropping £600 on that contract, maybe it's better to invest £80 in the marketing, just the numbers. Okay, and now those £80, 150 pounds would be equal to £6.60 or £12.50 per month. Yeah, so that is like equal loss if you consider that as a loss divided by 12 months. So if you would drop down the price of rental property of £1,200 by £660, will you generate more interest? Probably not. But if by investing £660 in photography per month, if you divide the cost per month, you will definitely get more price. So more engagement. So here you understand the comparison of dropping £50 or just investing £660. So you understand, but that's just one comparison of £50. But if the numbers would be £100, or let's say if it's a property that you are selling, if you're selling a property, you will not drop £50 and generate interest. You will drop £5,000. You may drop £10,000 to generate more interest. So now, before you're dropping £10,000, think about £80. So just simple mathematics, you know. So it doesn't require much of logics here. It just, the numbers speaks for themselves. So what else do? We do photography itself. We do floor plans and 3D virtual tours. So 3D virtual tours is something that I want you guys to have a look at it, because it was booming between the first lockdown and the second lockdown, because the government actually was selling them for us. You switch on the news and they say, get virtual tour done, because everyone was scared of walking around. And now, as we are in this era of doing everything online, so now what do? We do Zoom meetings, and we also do virtual viewings. And that is the option how many people are now working. Of course, eventually it comes down to meeting and signing the contract and everything, but now people are more aware of traveling than before. Okay. And the second thing is, what do? Is Measure House surveys. We do 2D drawings, and we also build 3D models, and we use scanners. So also that is something that not everyone is aware of, but once you scan the property, you don't have to revisit because you have all the information captured. From there, you can do whatever, 2D drawings or 3D models, and you can work with the information. So it saves time, it's more accurate, and there is no guesswork. And also, if, for example, you just need one floor plan, but at a later stage you say, look, I actually needed the second floor plan as well. Maybe I needed actually some elevation. If we have scanned the property, then we can at a later stage prepare any other plans as well. So these are the benefits of these technologies, but all these things is trends that moves us online. So this is to do with property marketing, and Measure House Service is a separate thing that we are focusing full on in this 2022. So questions and answers. So I didn't want it to make it too long and bragging about what do we do and the services and everything, but just an insight. Okay, this is what we do. I run a company. Yes, we have 2 offices, one in London, one in Latvia. One is service office that services the clients here. We had 16 people. Now after COVID, there's 6 people. Now how everything works together is we are now focusing more on architectural side than actually on these pictures and everything, because simply financially, if you think about things, the more you do complex stuff, the more you can earn on that, because everyone has phone and they go like, oh, I have phone, I can make pictures. Yes, they can make pictures, the ones that I showed you before, which doesn't really, you cannot compare them as you've seen in this video. But it's hard to say, look, you should invest in photography. Not everyone understands that, because I think I know photography, therefore I am a photographer, therefore I know what I do. But to be honest, I'm not a wedding photographer. I cannot do wedding. So, but if you do something complex, as let's say mortgages, people don't understand, or let's say a lawyer, let's say surveys, let's say anything else, then people go like, look, I don't want to deal with it. I rather get a professional and I pay them for the job. So if you're thinking about what to do now post COVID, as we approach and come out from all this, in the same industry, there is definitely clients and people that you work with, and instead of saying no, just say what other needs we can meet. And so this is me. If you have any questions about business or the service or the marketing, just let me know.
Peter, sorry.
Yeah.
Have you got any more, or should I?
Yeah, it's all up to you guys.
Yeah. I've got a lot of questions for you, mate.
Yeah.
Really interesting presentation there. Can you put your details on the screen, please, so for all our viewers?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yep. It's there. Right. So, yeah, grab Peter. Now, it's really interesting what you said. Something you said, it's you put the stuff on the platform first, which they'll look at before they'll contact you even.
Yeah, 100%.
So tell us a little bit more about that. What do you mean? What's your experience on that?
No, the experience with that even was that the auction started to contact us and everyone wanted to go online. So I do know that auctions now also are having more attendance online than presence in-house. That was just a property meeting that I attended last week, and they were just speaking about this. So the tendency is moving online, whether it is auctions, whether it is sales, whether it is lettings. And here I was talking about just the basic standard stuff is you have to show what you are selling. Like if you cannot show it, then people will, Tinder, you go like left. No. Oh, nice picture, go right. It's the same. It's the same thing,
Yeah, 100%. So what I think you're trying to say is, even to cross over the first hurdle, you need to present your stuff very, very nicely.
And think about this. You're presenting, either if it's your product is this property, then you have to present the property. But if your product or your service is yourself, let's say I'm providing some service, then I need to present myself. So what I try to take home message is, think about the presentation, number one, because eventually they may be super skilled person, but no one knows about them. So therefore he doesn't exist.
Yeah. Literally, if you're not online, you may not exist to your customers. You talked about figures. Would you mind going back on slides? We're going to give you extra 50p so you can reverse your slides.
Okay.
That is a really interesting set of numbers. I've never seen it broken down like that. So what if
it's simple as that. You break down just a monthly cost of lowering £50 on rent, and you end up £600 less in a year's contract, because usually it's 12 months contract. But if you in the same year invest once in property photography, let's say £80, that is a cost of £660. So £660 per month or £50 per month, which is your loss. What do you think is better? Well, you understand? So eventually it's £80 or £600 loss per year. But see, think about this. These images you will be able to use for the following years as well. And what many estate agents, what they do, before they actually let tenants in, especially if they have done nice refurb, they prepare the images, even if they have found a tenant, just so they have these marketing sorted. Because when the tenants come up in with their stuff and they give the notice to basically move out, then if they send a photographer in, it's full of stuff and clutter and everything. And then to get to that presentable stage, it's impossible, or they need to wait for them to move out, and then they can only start to advertise. But in this case, they get the images, they get the tenants in, they give a 1 month's notice, they start to advertise from day one. And when these tenants are moving out, they have already aligned people who are moving on the day in. You understand? So if you miss out 1 month on rent, just because you are trying to organize viewings and photo shoots and everything, that's £1,200 missed already. So estate agents know that, and therefore they prepare the marketing in advance, because they know if the landlord gives them this property, then they will be managing and looking after this property for years. So £80 investment is nothing. So you see the numbers, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So what you're saying is those photographs are a one-time investment that they can use again and again.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. No, very well pointed out. I've got some more questions for you if you've got a few more minutes, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Great. So I know what you do, because I've seen you in live action, I'd say, right? For our viewers, if you could put your details back on, who uses these services?
So the majority of this is estate agents and architects, because they basically have the amount of work, but there is private clients as well. But what is easier to find? One estate agent who can give you 10 properties a month, therefore it's 120 properties a year, or to find 120 private landlords. You understand? Yeah.
So although you deal with mainly business customers, you're happy to help people who are doing it on their own as well.
Yeah. Service apartments, service accommodations, HMOs, anyone who needs, we do that. It just, if you talk about the numbers, then yeah. And it's actually amazing feedback. If you will have a look at the reviews that we have, and see, one client we even have in Kent, and this client is paying just £145 just to travel there. We are not doing anything, plus whatever we do, because he says, I have tried 10 other photographers and none does like you. How comes? And I say, yeah, because I train all of them and we have a set standard. So because he understands that if he gets the marketing right, his competitors doesn't stay close to him. And what he was calling me, and he was saying, look, can you actually take off your logo from your floor plan, because I don't want my competitors see that you are doing the job for us, so they can reach out to us, and then everyone will be at great standard, so therefore we will lose that advantage. So there is advantage of having this sorted.
Right. So you've heard it first. This is the secret sauce to your property marketing. We're giving it to you now. Peter's the man, right?
100%.
Turnaround times. How long do you take to turn around your services?
Our turnaround times is usually 24 hours, so the next day from the site visit.
Well, that's quite quick. Not as fast as pizza, but then again, this will last longer than a pizza.
Not as fast as pizza, exactly. Yeah, guys, still.
But
a little bit better than Amazon Prime, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, 24 hours is a good turnaround for what you and you've got to think of this stuff as digital assets, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. If someone was hell bent on doing it themselves, have you got any tips for them? I mean, they're not going to listen, but what would you say?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if you need any tips and help, we do provide actually training, so we can train you up as well. And I have trained all my staff, so that's not a problem. I will not go into details. But the main thing is here, 50% is the equipment, 50% is the editing. So, there is work into it. It's not just taking pictures and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I went before the lockdown, before we used to be able to go on holidays. Mind you, we might be able to go back on them soon.
I'm going now today to Scotland after this meeting.
Yeah, but Scotland doesn't really count because you're not getting on a plane, mate. They're just
Well,
driving there, aren't you?
10 hours driving. It's holiday.
Mentally, but almost everyone's switched off. Mitesh nearly switched off. That's why he couldn't really work. I'm not going to pick on him too much, just a little bit, right? Yeah. So look, it's interesting what you said. It's more than just simply putting your phone. And sorry, my story was, when I was thinking, I'm a rubbish photographer, right? So my friend's a bit of a photographer geek, and he said, your photographs are rubbish. I'm getting fed up with you, right? Taking photos, yeah. So there is an art and a science to it. It's a skill that's learnable, and you guys do help people with it. Yeah, even if DIY, I'd say forget the DIY, just get it done, right?
Yeah. But some people want to learn, no problem, and I understand. And some people may be in the situation where they try to find themselves in the property industry. This is also to be in the property industry because you visit a lot of properties, you meet a lot of agents, you meet a lot of people, and you kind of get the feel and understanding of how all the thing works, So yeah, not everyone may start with straight away buying properties and flipping them, but you can start with like investing in camera and shooting.
So have I understood this right? You're actually using you're sharing your skills and knowledge. You're willing to train people to do this and teach them what equipment they should be having.
Yeah, the whole thing from start to finish. People go to universities for like 4 years, study photography, and then they go and work as a photographers. But I can get someone from zero to being good at it in 2 weeks, but that's full-time 2 weeks. That's 8 hours a day, 2 weeks non-stop. And that will gonna get you to the point where you know everything, but then it will gonna be like, I need to now practice, because it will take at least 3 months of practice to get to the standard. Because anyway, everything to get to be professional at something, it takes time. But you don't have to spend thousands of pounds in going to universities for 4 years where they talk about whatever they talk about, where you can get and go to work and actually do something.
And what do you charge for this training?
At the moment, we don't have any live trainings. I haven't started any because we just now come out from these lockdowns. But I had online events, which was $295.
Wow. Okay. This is something new. I didn't realize you did this because we do speak quite often, but I didn't realize. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
You encourage me. You are the one who always leads, and I'm like, you're doing this, I should do it. Bill started the business. He thought about the business challenge. I'm like, okay, I'm picking up the business.
We're going to come to that in a minute. We will come to that. So yeah. So what you're saying is either we do the photography, or you can do it yourself, and you guys will train them on how to do it.
Yeah. Because look, if you will look on Rightmove and how many properties is added on daily, it's about 2,000. So if we do 20 a day, then where's the competition? You understand? Like we do 20 a day, but there's 2,000 daily listed. You understand? Like this work for everyone. And but it's work. But before the lockdown, before the Brexit, it was like every 3 months we just like employ a new person. Every 3 months employ a new person. Every 3 months employ a new person, because it was just like boom, 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 and then bam, Brexit. After Brexit, you feel like, because the property industry was slow during the Brexit, people were waiting for things. It started like, oh, now we're going to start to move. And you get these lockdowns.
Yeah, well, look, we do talk about this separately. And I was talking to someone yesterday and he said, you've said Brexit, the B word and then the C word, right?
Yeah. The word that people don't use.
And I nearly cried when I heard, he's a very good friend of mine. He said it actually knocked a zero off his business in terms of turnover. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
So that, well, let's try and bring it back upbeat. Let's be upbeat about this. Right. Property, you do other 3 services. Can we have a look at the other services you do as well?
Yeah, floor plans, virtual tours. As I was saying, floor plans is usually used for like sales properties, because when people look at this is basically what they want to see, what's the layout, whether they can actually work and, you know, invest some money and extend or whatever for investors. So they always will want for a floor plan. And just for family, just like general family, they definitely will want to see the layout. So it also saves the time, because if the layout is not suitable for, let's say, like their family needs, then what's the point of showing the property to someone? So you say you save yourself a visit, so you just have the floor plan. And we do packages. Photos, floor plans is a package. One visit is arranged, we do photos and floor plans at the same visit. So
Fantastic. And look, I've been in properties. I go in properties for a living, and most of them are the same. And sometimes even I sit there and think, when I do surveys, you know, after about 14 years of doing the damn things, now you have a system. But
yeah.
I am sure when people go and view properties, they miss things, they forget where they are. So not only are floor plans, virtual tours, and photographs useful for seeing if they want to see it, but it also reminds them of what they've just gone and viewed. And a lot of people miss those things. But
yeah, and you have to remember, for general public is emotional attachment, and everyone is led by emotion. So if they look at it and they feel like it, then that's what they were going to do. And then the more you look at things, the more you want them. So that's like going to a Mercedes salon and looking at new cars every day and saying, I will not want it. It's impossible. So the more you the more you see it, the more you want it, and that's just the human nature. So, you know, the more you can expose this and show more of it, the more interest you can generate, and then people go this emotional attachment, and then they go, okay, yes, let's go. But like, if we are talking about investors, they will actually look for bad images, because that means less interest, lower price, and they will look for problems to solve, because if there is problems to solve, they can invest, make the money, flip it, and whatever. But if again you want to sell it for like the higher price or rent it for the higher price, then the presentation is the key of achieving the maximum value out of it.
that's a really interesting tip. So what you're saying is find a property with rubbish photographs, just tidy up the photographs, and that could be a potential
look.
source
I can tell you 100%. Look, if you have property with nice pictures and property with bad pictures, you can just get that property with bad pictures for lower price, because there'll be less interest. Because it doesn't mean property is worse. It doesn't mean that, and it doesn't mean you're going to make nice pictures, the property will going to become better in value. But see, the thing is, if there is no interest, then what do? You just have to lower the price.
Yeah.
There's no other way. And then you complain that you go like, oh, maybe there's not much interest. Look, guys, I give you this offer. And especially if it's a good market, yeah, like in a good market, it doesn't matter what you do, everything goes. It just goes. But in a bad market, when there's competition, then it's like, look, there is one property and there's another property, and both in the same street, both in the same area, both in the same price. Which one do I want to see? You understand? So when you have the comparison, when people are comparing things, then the marketing will gonna sell. But when there is like a need and people are hungry and they don't have anything, they will take whatever. Because you cannot say to a homeless person, don't eat cheeseburger, it's not healthy. They will eat cheeseburger because they just need to eat.
Fantastic, right? No, that's a great analogy. I think I might go and grab a couple of more Easter eggs now. Anyway, sorry, different subject. Look, you do the virtual tours now. I want you to do. If you could come back and do a program on your own. I mean, look, this is such a fascinating subject about. How would you call it? Adding virtual value to property? Is that the way you're thinking about it?
I would say as simple as that, property marketing, but virtual value.
Yeah, because
virtual marketing, maybe. Yeah, because this is what it is. It's virtual marketing. Now, everyone, estate agents, we also do video walkthroughs, because that's also an alternative, is a cheaper option. Put it on YouTube, and people do viewings through like just having those virtual walkthroughs. And also people who do like rent per rooms, more now you will find the tenants will say, look, can you send me a video of the room?
Yeah,
If you are in renting rooms, then you will find that, because I know I have experience where they say, look, can you send a video? Yeah, and then it's all about, look, it's all about this engagement, feeding them, and then say, look, you want it? Okay, this is the price.
Yeah, and also don't forget, if you're sending them a video, you're saving time, both theirs but also yours.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're not traveling to the property, waiting for them to be 20 minutes late, looking around and just going out. And you only have to, you can send the same video to whoever wants.
Yeah.
You know, a text fantastic nowadays. Right. So I'm going to squeeze a program out of you on this stuff, because this is so fascinating. I never thought about all this stuff in that way. So come back, tell us about your photography classes, especially based on property, and how would we?
I haven't really put anything in the slides. Didn't know that we're going to go about this topic, but yeah, you can reach out to me. I can send all the details about the photography courses that we do. But there's 3 things that needs to be this broken down, because it's not just one complete thing. If you want to be professional, look, photography is one thing, editing is something else, and floor plans is something else. Because to get everything right in 1 week, it's not. You will be 1 week on each. That's what you have to understand. And also, when you go into property marketing, floor plan we're going to be I would say maybe 65-70% required also. So if anyone who provides photography, then they will be able to take only 30% of all the jobs out there, because people need floor plans and they require them. And then what's the point of having one person to do the pictures and then one who are going to do the floor plan if one can come and do everything at the same time? Plus, you don't have to travel 2 people, so therefore the price will be better. So,
okay, so if someone wants to do their own floor plans, do they need equipment, software? How does that work? Or how does the training?
Floor plans is literally like it's just the knowledge and common sense and logic, and the investment is minimal, because you just need to get the laser disc, you can get the cheapest one like £60, and then just the sheet paper, and that's it, and it's easy as that. But it's about like the thing is, for some people, the photography goes very easy, and then they just get stuck in those floor plans because how does the wall come? How does you understand? But for me, it's like floor plans. For me, is to be honest, floor plans, to do floor plans is easier than to do pictures. But to learn floor plans is actually harder than photography. I don't know why. Maybe it's more visual stuff, and then there is more logic, especially when it comes like odd shapes and everything. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Because you want to be accurate. You don't want to mislead people, and then people come back to you and say, look, this is not accurate. So yeah, there is this element that you have to get it right there.
Okay, brilliant. And just going back to the previous line, I picked up something really interesting there.
Yeah.
Sorry, the one before that, Q&A. Yeah, measured services. Right. So I know a little bit about this, probably not as much as you.
You know, yeah.
Quick run through. This is architectural services, but it can also be used for people looking to buy, should we say, buildings and redevelop them? Yeah.
Buildings should not really buying, because this is if we create an as-built model. So that's actually as it is, and then from there you can say, look, this is what I want to change. This is how it's all going to look like. It's a 3D model. Literally, you have to build everything, every wall, every window, every like chimney, everything. Like you just build it, yeah. It's not done automatically. It's a lot of manual work. So therefore, the cost also, because it requires expensive scanners to scan it and so on. But now, when we go to computer-generated images, CGIs that you've seen on the posters and everywhere, where people say, look, this is the new development that we're going to come up. This is what they need. They need the 3D model, to which after we're going to put the render on. Render is basically the colors, the green grass, the sun, the blue skies and everything. So from here, you can actually have visualization and plan actually where you put the sinks, where you're going to do the things, where you're going to pull your paintings, and how the layout will look like before actually building, because this is actually like a real life and everything to scale. And plus this can also after then be created as a walkthrough virtual tour where you can actually walk around. But what is cheaper, to invest in virtually actually planning everything, or just on the go planning and then constantly visiting the site and everything? Because once you have came up with a plan and idea, you can then go to the builders and everything and say, like, this is what you have to do, and you haven't done it, then you have done it, that's it. Because eventually it's time, and time is money, you understand?
Well, even worse. So builders will build something and you don't like it, and they'll charge you extra to knock it down and rebuild.
For knocking it down, yeah. And also a thing is, sometimes the people go like, look, this builder is cheaper, so therefore I'm going to go with this builder, but they miss out on this builder is cheaper, but 1 month, and therefore it will become very expensive, because there may be one builder who is more expensive, but he'll complete the job in 1 week. So it's not always cheapest is best, but here when you can say, look, okay, this is what I want you to build, look at this, okay, how much you want, and then you fix the price. When you fix the price, then no longer you have to go like, oh, we'll figure out what we want, what we don't want, and then it's just the hourly rates just going, and then you end up just losing money. So yeah, this definitely is a lifesaver.
All right, I'm going to give you slightly more marks than Mitish for your presentation. I think it was better. Mitish is probably not listening because
I'm in marketing. That's why. Sorry, but it's not fair comparison.
Well, yeah. Anyway, he's going to get upset and go and sit in the corner somewhere in a minute. I'd like you to come back and do a program on this measured surveys, because this is fascinating for me. Yeah, is that okay? Would you come back and do a program just on this stuff?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. Break it down.
Yeah, just one program on all of this stuff, on measured surveys, as-built drawings, especially these Rivet models, because I know the term, but I'm sure a lot of our audience don't know and don't really understand how it's fully used. Yeah.
But now everyone is going into it, and no large development is built without it, because it's if you like, building information model is BIM, it's called, and that's basically a model where you put all the information in, like the cost, the delivery cost, the timing of what it was going to be and everything, and the model goes there, everything, and then basically you can predict all costs from like start to the finish and everything. And when it comes down to large projects, you have to know like when the delivery is coming in, when the truck is going on. You understand there's a lot of logistics. Like for a small project, maybe, yes, you just have the 2D drawings, which you also do. And then it's just one laborer or like few builders just digging the ground and doing whatever they need to do. But when it comes down, especially to a larger project, then you cannot complete them without it.
Yeah, no, super interesting point. And we've worked on some interesting stuff in my day job. Peter, look, that's really good, really interesting stuff. I think I've burned through all the sugar I ate before the program, so I've calmed down now. I've had to think about it. You guys have both got me thinking now, right?
Yeah, so you have to start to do the push-up challenge now, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's a different one. Oh, okay. Talking about a challenge. Peter, what's your Instagram? Is your Instagram on there?
No, it's not on there, but it's Peter Baumann 23.
All right. If you guys are on Instagram, and luckily for me, I'm not, so therefore I don't have to do his push-up challenge. Peter is starting a business challenge in May.
Business challenge, yeah.
Take part. It's going to be awesome. Take action. It's going to be really nice. Peter, thank you very much for sparing your time. It's been
thank you very much, Dil, for organizing and encouraging and bringing people together, because I learn a lot through you. And also the thing is, when you have someone to be accountable in front of, then you achieve more than if you are not accountable. So, like you say, look, Peter, let's do this. If you would not say, look, come and speak on the program, I would never do the slides. But because he says, look, this is when you need, you just have to do it.
Yeah, it's really hard work getting Peter to do something. But when he does it, he does a piece of magic.
I just do too much things. I'm just like,
So, and his professional work is awesome. I've actually seen it in real life before the lockdown.
Yeah.
As well as during the lockdown. So thank you, Peter. Come back and do the Rivet models. We'd love to hear about your training programs as well. It's going to be really interesting. So look, unfortunately, we all have to disappear on our holidays for the Easter break. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that show. We're going to be back Well, some of us are going to be back next week. Others are going to be skiving. No comments there. We'll see everybody next week. Thank you for your time. Peter, I want you to do those presentations and come back on the program. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Have
Mitesh-
an amazing Easter holiday.
Mitesh, you did really well, so don't get upset, all right? Yeah. And I want to see those programs about the stately home and this holiday, Cornwall holiday place.
Sure, definitely.
All right, guys. Thank you for your time. To all our audience, hope you found it really useful. Thank you for that. Hang on, might have missed some audience questions there. Don't tell me if I forgot these. No, hang on. Okay, what can I see on my messages? No, nothing. No more questions to be answered. So we've obviously answered them all. What a great show that was. We'll see everybody in 1 week Thursday. Enjoy your 4 days
Yeah,
off.
guys.
All right, guys. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks, Dil.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Deal. Perfect. Thank you, Surrender.